So I've got my old Sycamore 19 mower out that isn't worth much, but the engine runs great on it. I use it to cut the grass around here, or at least plan to. Got this last year. Obviously it had been sitting for a while. It is well used, mid to late 1980s model push mower. And of course, after it had been sitting for a while, unbelievably, it still started and ran. And I ran it well enough to cut the grass with it, but eventually the diaphragm gave out in it. So I was going to show y'all how to replace one of these older style, I believe they call them PulsaJet carb diaphragms. So what I'm first going to start off by doing is taking off the air filter here, which I could stand to replace also. I've got tons of them in my stash. Not too bad, but not the best. And so pull this open here. You have your 5 screws for the carburetor. I'll show you where they're at whenever I take these 2 bolts off here. For the gas tank, I usually just take the whole gas tank assembly off. 1/2 inch, depending on the type of mower. That is either a 7/16 or a 3/8. Here it's a 7/16. So take those 2 bolts off, and you disconnect the spring here from your throttle, and you have the gas tank off. And again, I'll show you how to take the carburetor off when I get that off. So got the 2 bolts off here, and then I just pull the gas tank straight out to get it off of the intake tube, and now pulling the throttle mechanism off, and the gas tank is off. So here's your 5 screws you got to take out. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5. I'll take those screws out and we'll show you the diaphragm, and then also your 6 on these older styles. You're going to have like a 6th nut here. Not that one, this one. And that is going to allow you to get to the rod that connects to the butterfly here in the carburetor. So I'll get it off and show you all that. So the carburetor is off the gas tank after I unscrewed those 5 screws and the 6th small bolt there to get the cover off. Again, there's your rod. All you gotta do is pull the rod out from the butterfly mechanism, and then just basically pull your carb gasket off here, and I'll get that off. It just comes straight out. Can't really do it with one hand, but I'll get that off. We'll get the new carburetor gasket and put it on. So there's the old diaphragm, as you can see by some of the rust, and it's not it's a little bit weathered and used. And here's your new diaphragm right out of the box. You have to put that spring in the tabs there, but that's it. And you just slide it on up the carburetor here through the hole there on the carburetor. Put the rod up through there, connect it up to your butterfly, and put it back on the gas tank, and put it back on the mower. So we will do that next. So I got the new carburetor diaphragm on. Just make sure you tighten all 5 of your screws back. I would recommend going, if this was the first one you tightened, I'd tighten that one next and go kind of like in a star pattern so that you can kind of evenly distribute the gasket. And then I've also got my little 1/4 inch bolt back on there. These older carburetors, especially if they've been sitting for a while, I'd recommend cleaning them while you have it off, whether it's with carb cleaner or some air to blow the dirt and dust out of them. Just all the passageways are clear whenever you put it back on to the mower. I had already done it to this carburetor, so it should be good to go. We're going to put it back on the mower now and see if it will run for us. So we're back on the mower now. I know I mentioned cleaning out the carburetor when you've got it off, especially if it's been sitting a while. It's probably going to have old gas in the gas tank also, that sometimes builds up on the sides. I would recommend cleaning that out also. Usually what I do is whenever I have the carb diaphragm off and I see that there's gunk in the gas tank, I usually just wash it out with water, and that usually does the job for me, but you might have to find something else if it is a ton of stuff in there. But yeah, so we've got it together. Let's take it down there and give it a pull and see if it'll run. So I did originally pull it and it was still only running for a couple seconds. It turned out that I needed to adjust the carb screw that's down there that you can see through that hole. Backed it off a little bit. Seemed to be running great now. So let me show y'all how it's doing. Still got to work on the front here so I don't have to ground it out. But again, I'm using this mower for personal use. Good little mower, runs good, and that's how you put one of these old style carburetor diaphragms on them. Again, this leaking here is WD-40. I did some lubricant to some of the mechanisms under the carb there. But again, hope y'all found this interesting and informative, and hope this helps y'all out. And thank y'all for watching.